Once again, here, there has to be some kind of categorization. We go with 6 distinct personality types, okay? Let's see what their vocabulary is. They have the persister, right? The one that gets things done. You have the promoter, which is kind of the cheerleader. You have the rebel, also called the omega sometimes, the person who pushes back, the devil's advocate, right? You have the imaginer, which is kind of the creative person. You have the harmonizer who makes sure the team gets along. Why don't we all get along, right? And then you have the thinker. These are the different types. Each type has their own motivational needs, behaviors, and communication style. This is why it's called a process communication, which means if you can evaluate what type your team member is of these 6, then you can tailor the way you communicate to them. And this might resonate with some of you. If you think about, you talking to an IT specialist or to an accountant or to a marketing person or to an engineer, you know this intuitively. You have to kind of adjust the way you communicate and what you communicate to them, right? So this is important. Once again, is intended to improve communication and relationships at work. What I like about PCM, and if you ask anybody who uses PCM actively, they kind of like to arm's length push themselves away from the personality types. Yes, they have a questionnaire in the beginning, and yes, they evaluate your personality model, but it's much more forward-thinking in the psychology of how do you use it on a daily basis. It goes way beyond evaluation, and we're going to later on this month have 1 or 2 specialists going to come in and tell us their use case examples for PCM, okay? What are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about P.A.P.I, right? Which stands for Personality and Preference Inventory, okay? Here you have a very sexy wheel that kind of shows you how one of these assessments is. By the way, if you're wondering if this is a John Smith or Jane Doe, no, this is actually me. You can see what kind of psycho I am on this wheel. Just kidding. What it basically has is it has a framework that deals with how is your composure, what is your orientation when it comes to engagement, what is your impact or drive motivation, what is your focus on organization and structure, how are you with ideas and change, how are you in interaction with others, and what is your work momentum. Now, each one of these have subsegments, which are broken into what we call perceived roles versus needs. Okay, so let's pick some of them out. In here we have the need to be direct. I want to point this out. I have a score of 10. Now some of you might be applauding and say, "Yay, Mark, you have a need to be direct. You get 10 points." But this is not the Eurovision. You don't win by getting 10. The idea is that there's a medium that you're looking for, and that is somewhere around 5.5, which is this circle right here. We'll see that in just a little bit. And anything that's way below that or way above that gives you ground for discussion. So you can see whoever has to deal with me has a good starting point to have a real good conversation.